Hi everybody, how's it going? It's me, Amanda, with Once in a Wild, and it's time for our 3:30 program, and it is Friday, so happy Friday to everybody, and thank you for having patience with our new times that are starting, well, not the new time, but new days that were scheduled, and we really appreciate y'all's patience, and please call me to schedule your Zoom room animal encounters, and we're going to be playing a commercial for that here in just a little bit. If you haven't seen our commercial before, it is pretty cute, if I do say so myself. And welcome over here on YouTube, on Facebook, and on Instagram over here by my side over here. Of course, this is a Q&A session, so if you guys have any questions, anything you want to tell me, feel free to chime in with your questions, comments, and all your encouragement for us. As always, it's always really fun, and we're getting ready to begin. So today we've got 3 amazing animal species to talk about, whatever, same thing. And we're getting ready for our show. Pretty exciting. Before I begin, remember, we are an animal encounter company. We normally bring the zoo to you, to your classroom, to your home, for parties and things, to your work. We can bring them to hospitals and nursing homes, all kinds of possibilities. We can bring them to events for photo opportunities and all kinds of learning opportunities and animal therapy, all kinds of things that we can do. Right now, we're stuck at home, of course, so we're bringing the zoo to you via Facebook live stream, as well as YouTube live stream and Instagram as well. We also are offering our Zoom room animal encounters, which we'll talk a little bit more about. As we get going here, I'm going to play you guys a commercial, so I won't talk about that too much longer. I do want to draw to your attention that we do have a contest going on for Teacher Appreciation Week, which is over today. So happy Teacher Appreciation Week and happy summer coming up. Hooray! You guys still have a little bit longer to go for your school year. And you guys have been doing such a good job with adapting to our situation, just like we are, right? We're adapting to a virtual world. You're doing classes online. You're getting really, really savvy at Zooms. And I know this because I have seen a few teachers, actually quite a few teachers in our Zoom classes. So we do offer those again, like I said. But we're doing a giveaway right now until the end of the weekend. So after Sunday, it's no more, but our contest is over on Instagram and Facebook. You have to just like the post. You're going to tag a teacher. It could be yourself. It could be a friend, whoever's a teacher. And you have to follow us on either Instagram or Facebook. And those are your rules. And then you're entered. And then we're going to draw a winner. And the winner actually gets a 30-minute Zoom room animal encounter for your class, which is pretty exciting. So that's going to go towards that. And it should be pretty fun. Before I begin, I'm actually going to go check my camera really fast because I don't think I did that yet, and I'll be right back. Okay, I wanted to make sure I did that, and I did not check it. So the reason I have to check my camera sometimes is because it's on a timer. So unfortunately, our timer is way shorter than it should be. It's about 30 minutes. So I always have to check that and make sure it's not getting ready to shut off. So it is now started over again. So hooray. So you guys have always been wonderful as always. Let's go ahead and begin our show. What do we have here? Oh, here we go. Let's begin our show. Hooray! Look who's here today. Have you guys seen him before? If you haven't, this is Loki, and he is a wonderful ferret. And I'm going to get his treats ready. Oh my gosh, I didn't get them ready, and he knows exactly where they are. So I'm going to hold him like this and get everything open. Oh my goodness, don't leave us, Loki. Okay, Loki's ready, as he always is. There we go. So Loki gets really special treats for programs, and that is chicken baby food, his favorite treat. As you can see him vigorously licking off my fingers. Let me get to y'all's comments so I can see you guys. Happy Friday indeed, Donna. Happy Friday. Whoops, I put his food all over his nose, but I don't think he minds. Hello, Sophia, and hello, Bonnie. Nice to see you guys once again. Once again, this is Loki, our ferret. I'm going to adjust our Instagram viewers over here. And today I brought you 3 different animal species, as usual, and 3 different individuals to represent their species. And Loki is a beautiful ferret. So the domestic ferret, which is what he is, Loki is actually derived from the European polecat. That's where the domesticated ferret comes from. And he is actually a direct relative to the European polecat. His mother was actually a hybrid. So pretty cool. He's pretty special in that way. He's very, very large. He's pretty much exactly how they would look in the wild too. It might be a little bit of a different color, but he's almost exactly the way they look. Isn't that amazing? So European polecats come from Europe, obviously, and they are a member of the weasel family. And they are the direct relative of the ferrets. So ferrets, weasels, polecats, minks, otters, what else? Wolverines, badgers, all those guys are in the mustelid family, which is the weasel family. Now, mustelid in a nutshell just means stinky little thief. Stinky little thief. That is what a ferret is. As you may know, you may have been around ferrets before. Now, he is also a carnivore. So all three of our species that I brought today are actually obligate carnivores. When we say obligate, that means he has to be a carnivore. That means he should not be eating fruits and vegetables and other carbohydrates and things. He is just a meat eater. So what would they eat in the wild? Not chicken baby food, right? This is just a treat, by the way. Here at Once in a Wild, he gets a raw meat diet, which is really, really healthy for ferrets. And the chicken baby food is just for treats so that I can hold him still and he can be very busy licking off my fingers like this. But out there in the wild, they're going to eat other animals like rabbits and rodents, birds, other things like that. And these guys are amazing, capable hunters that can actually hunt an animal up to 3 to 4 times their size, maybe even larger. I always kind of say a different number, but it's very large by comparison to their size. And of course, that depends on the species, but little weasels can actually eat animals that are about 10 times their size. Now, that doesn't mean they're going to eat them all in one bite, right? They might save a little for later, especially in the wintertime. These guys do what we call stashing their food. So a lot of times they will kind of hunt something and then eat some of it and then stash the rest away for later. These guys have to actually eat quite a bit for a carnivore. Most carnivores in nature, I say most, but when you think about like a wolf or something like that, they don't necessarily eat a few times a day like a weasel does, like a ferret does. So those members of the weasel family, they have a very fast metabolism. So they have to eat multiple times a day as opposed to just once a day, like a lot of wolves do and things like that. They have a fast metabolism. Now let's see who has questions. And I do apologize, I can't really click your questions yet. On Instagram, you guys said cute ferret. Very, very good. Thank you. Yes, and they can hunt animals that are very large. So for example, a little weasel, which is much smaller than this guy, they are like maybe like just like a pound or two. Those guys are really, really tiny. Some of those little weasels and ermines and things, very tiny. Those guys can hunt jackrabbits and large rabbits and things like that. And it's pretty amazing. You should look it up how they hunt. They are very capable hunters. These guys are obligate carnivores. They have very, very long, sharp teeth. I don't know if you can see his teeth or not. But their teeth are similar to like a cat's teeth. So very, very predatory, very predator-like, right? They don't have like rodent teeth or anything like that. They're absolutely not rodents. In fact, these are predators of rodents. Pretty amazing. And you can see his little hands kind of, I say hands, but they're more paws, kind of gripping my hand while I feed him. He's very eager for his food. You can see those hands might help him too. He doesn't have retractable claws like a cat does or anything like that, but he can use his paws almost like kind of like as much of a dog, maybe a little bit more. And some animals like badgers and things have even more capabilities with their paws. They're pretty dexterous when it comes to having paws. Now you can see they're semi-webbed as well, which reminds me of an otter's webbed feet. Most otters have webbed feet. They are very, very well designed to swim. Otters are also waterproof with all their oil all over them, all over their coat, helps them to have that water roll right off of them. These guys aren't necessarily an aquatic species, but they can swim a little bit, but they wouldn't be like hanging out in the water as much as an otter would be, right? Right, buddy? But they are similar. They're in the same family. A lot of people ask me if he's an otter. He is a rather big ferret, but he does have semi-webbed feet. So a little bit of swimming might be easy for him. Let's see, you guys are tagging all your friends. Thank you so much. Feel free to tag all your family and friends that you think might enjoy our live streams and our videos in general. These videos are always uploaded again to Facebook and to YouTube and temporarily on our story on Instagram. So YouTube is probably the best place to find our videos. We are new to YouTube, so we really appreciate if you guys would go on YouTube and actually subscribe to us and ring the bell and turn on notifications and comment and things like that. That really helps us out on our YouTube platform. So thank you for tagging all your friends. It helps out a lot. And tell all your friends and family about our Zoom rooms. Our Zoom rooms are really, really fun. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. So more about ferrets. You guys have any questions about the ferret? Nick is here. Hi, Nick. And he says that Jack, his son, says the ferret is so cute. I agree. So ferrets are one of my favorite type of mammals. And again, these guys are actually a relative of the European polecat. In fact, they are what actually they came from. So just like your domestic dogs at home and your domestic cats came from wild animals at some point, these guys also came from wild animals. They've been domesticated for about 2,500 years. And they were originally domesticated for their hunting skills. We mentioned that they are very good hunters, right? And that was actually the main purpose of their domestication. So the European polecat, again, looks almost identical to him. Very similar animal, it's just a wild version, right? And I guess they would see how well they would hunt rabbits and rats and things. And that's exactly why they were domesticated, for human purposes. So humans would actually domesticate these guys. They eventually started breeding them to be a little bit more calm and work around people without, attacking them and things like that. Because basically they're a wild animal. But when they start becoming domesticated, they become more calm around humans, etc. It's just selective breeding over time. And they've even selected them for different colors and things. But this is the kind of the OG coloration. And in my opinion, my favorite coloration, because they're just kind of classic with that beautiful mask and dark body. They look like a wild animal, so cool. But these guys are great hunters of rabbits and rats. So for rabbits, I was hunting for food. For rats, I was hunting, or basically eradication of rats in human homes and castles and boats. So these guys are very, very weaselly. They're pretty flexible and very, very long-bodied. See that? Very flexible. Boop, boop. Can you flex his spine really well? So these guys are tunnelers. So they can get into nooks and crannies that cats and dogs cannot get into and get after rodents like rats and mice and other pest animals. Arguably, they probably hunt roaches and things too. I would imagine they're amazing hunters. And they ended up being a big help to people back in the day for that kind of stuff. And believe it or not, it actually still happens. Some people raise these guys and train them for ratting out rats and mice in people's yards and homes. They're very, very good at it, very efficient, and they do it very quickly, which is what efficient means, I guess. And but yeah, it ended up working out really, really well. And the ferrets eat all those animals, so they would get rewards of that meat. Yeah, pretty easy to train them, something that they naturally do. And what would happen too is we actually have two ferrets here at once in a while. We've got we've got Loki, which is this guy, and we've got Thor, who is white. And the white ferrets would oftentimes be given to royalty and other officials and very, very important people back then, because the white ferrets would sometimes be seen too well by the prey. Not always. Some white ferrets would still hunt, but ferrets like albinos weren't as common, especially back then. And so they thought that they were very special, very pretty, and a little less, didn't make as much sense to hunt in the field and things. So they would be given to royalty as pets. They made very, very good pets even back then. And yeah, so pretty amazing animals, domesticated originally for hunting. And then they realized that they're actually pretty good pets too. They're very personable, very smart, kind of like a cat and a dog mixed together. They're super active. They're very fun. They kind of have a few modes. It's either going like crazy, as he's kind of like, where's the food, Mom? Like, feed me the food. That's what I'm here for. Come on. It's either go, 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 eat, 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 or sleep, 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 and sometimes poop, right? So these guys have just a few modes of activity or inactivity. They sleep a lot. They can sleep about half the day or more. They are considered to be a crepuscular animal, which means in nature, they're actually awake during dawn and dusk most of the time. But that's just in the wild. Over here in human care, they kind of adjust to your schedule, but they still do sleep a lot, but they also play a lot and eat whenever they're fed, right? These guys are great eaters. So hello, everyone. What makes them so stinky? So these guys are a musky little animal. So they have kind of like a natural kind of musky smell, kind of smells very skunky. The skunk is not their relative. But it smells kind of skunky, but not nearly as bad. But they have like glands on their body and in their pores that kind of smell like that, especially during the breeding season. Now, our ferrets are neutered, so they don't smell nearly as bad as they did before they were neutered and they started becoming mature. Ferret hair on my chin. As you might imagine, that's a hazard of the job, getting hair all over your face, isn't it? He's like, let me be some more. But what was I going to say? They also have scent glands in their anal glands. If you guys have dogs, you know what anal glands are, right? I'm not trying to be crude. Anal glands are really a thing with dogs and many other animals. including ferrets. Ferrets have kind of extra stinky anal glands. Some ferrets are descented. That's what that means. When they are descented, their anal glands are removed. And a skunk's anal glands are what actually they can spray in defense, right? That's what. So there's varying different anal glands depending on the animal. And the anal glands of a ferret smell very similar to a dog, a little bit stronger. Let's see. So that's what makes them stinky. And it kind of depends seasonally as well. It also depends on if they're spayed or neutered and if they are descented. Now, our boys are not descented because it's not a necessary surgery. It's not something they can spray us with. It just happens from time to time, just like it does with your dog. So it just kind of depends on the dog, depends on the ferret. I feel like Loki's anal glands are a little bit stinkier than Thor's. Don't know why, but that just seems to be the case. Sometimes he does express them, if you would. So it just happened, but it just goes away afterwards. It's not a big deal. Their feces is also pretty stinky because these guys are carnivores. Although their feces, in my opinion, because I've had ferrets through the years, I've had several of them as well. And the ferrets that I used to have, because I didn't know any better, was I fed them kibble. So, and there's nothing wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong if you feed them kibble. Some ferrets are raised on kibble and they won't switch over to a raw diet. But a raw diet, if they will accept it, is actually better for them than kibble, because it's a natural diet, right? So, because they're obligate carnivores, and all kibble has some kind of carbohydrate or vegetable in it to preserve it, and salt and things. So, raw diet, in a nutshell, is just a little bit better for them. So I'll stop talking about that. But what was I going to say? Oh, in my opinion, the feces of a kibble-fed ferret smells a lot worse than a raw-fed ferret, but it also depends on what food item they get to eat. And these guys, like I said, have a fast metabolism, so that means that they use the restroom quite a bit. Luckily, they do use the restroom in a litter box, so it's pretty easy to clean up. It's not too bad. And I do clean it at least once a day, let me tell you, at least once a day. And these guys make quite a mess sometimes. And they usually make their messes by playing and things like that. Maybe they'll play in the litter sometimes. Oh my. And make a big old mess. But yes, so their poop smells, their anal gland smell, and their general smells. Although Loki doesn't smell that bad right now. Someone is asking, can they hunt skunks? So very little animals, of course, can hunt skunks. Skunks are very hard to hunt. Now, baby skunks oftentimes don't spray because they kind of have to learn how to spray, in my experience. Most baby skunks, they just don't know any better. They're kind of like puppies. Like, they're just not as aggressive and defensive. But an adult skunk is a very hard animal for any animal to eat. I would probably say no, unless it was a baby skunk, maybe. But skunks are very specialized. So the main predators of skunks are actually birds of prey. Did you know that? So birds of prey have no sense of smell. So that comes in very handy if you're hunting things like skunks, because skunks are very, very stinky when they're defensive, right? And that spray of the skunk is not just smelly, it can be dangerous to the eyes and things like that. So I don't believe weasels and ferrets and things go after skunks. Maybe if a skunk has passed away and not released their odor, maybe they could go over and eat one that has already passed away. But I would imagine no. So I don't think so. Good question. That's an excellent question that I've never gotten before. Pretty good, huh? Let's see what else we got going on. And you guys are loving the ferret. I'm so glad. Is their tongue rough when they lick your hand? It's a little bit rough, but it's not nearly as rough as a cat. And that is a very good question. It's just a little bit rough. It doesn't hurt or anything. It's a little, it just feels dry. Ha ha ha. They're not super drooly like a dog. So anybody with a dry tongue, their tongue might feel a little rougher than it would be if they were drooly. Pretty cool. Look how beautiful he is. What are the questions you guys have? Feel free to ask all of your questions. It helps me out to have some talking points. Sometimes I get up here and I forget what I'm talking about. These guys are amazing. They're very playful. So in our care, they get tons of time outside of their enclosure to play. And again, they have one another. And, ooh, I wish you guys had some smell-o-vision, because I smell him now. Loki, did you hear me talking about your scent glands and you just wanted a demo? They cannot smell you. I can smell you. You're very smelly. Woo-wee, stinky. So yeah, I'm experiencing that right this second. I don't know why. You can't even tell, right? He didn't even make any body language. He's not scared. I think he just got relaxed. And just, there you go. Let it go. Let it go. Oh my. Hello, everyone. Nice to see you. Amanda says, he's like a lot of my friends and me. Do a skunk spraying mechanism operate the same way as a cat that sprays? Or is it operationally different? So it's for a cat that sprays, they're spraying urine. So a cat is actually urinating or peeing when they're spraying. And that's literally them just like marking their territory. You know how a dog lifts their leg and marks their territory? A cat would just pee backwards because their anatomy is much different. But that's literally urine. And I'm sure for them, they also have their scent glands that make them smell a certain way because, of course, all these animals, not like us, they have all these kind of communication possibilities and their capabilities and their smells. So that's why an animal marks their territory. Maybe their prey, I don't know, whatever. But they definitely mark their territory because to another cat, for example, or another dog, that's going to tell them all kinds of information like, hey, stay out of my territory. This is mine. Stay away from my girlfriends, things like that. It might mean different things. And they might have all kinds of different smells that they smell and information that they get just by sniffing each other, right? Like he's settling down like this. He's usually all crazy. He's so cute. But no, it's not the same. So the glands and the skunk and the ferret and the dog too, when they have their anal gland, you know dogs, Amanda, I'm sure you do. You house sit a lot and take care of lots of people's pets. Not the same thing. So when a cat sprays, it's urine. So when a skunk sprays, it is not urine. It's actually a special property inside their anal gland. And I don't know if they also release some urine too. They might, because most animals do urinate when they get afraid. But I don't believe so. No. Good question. It should be different. Yes, it's out of the butt, not where the urine comes out. So a cat's anatomy is a little bit close together, right? So that kind of looks like that. Now I see what you're asking. So yes, when a cat sprays, it is urine. All right. He is so cute and so soft. I wish you guys were around to pet him. When you guys are, you know, of course, back out in the world and we're back out in the world, you guys can book us for an in-person program and you guys can just feel how soft he is. He's so soft. And you might be able to smell him too. What do you know? Isn't he shiny and soft? He is so big. He's a very large ferret. Did you just burp? Excuse you. Did you guys hear the burp? So cute. Can you show us the tail? Yes, here's his tail. It's shiny and beautiful too. He is so pretty. These guys are really flexible. I'm sorry I can't back up too far. Let's see if I can. Let's give him a little treat again so he's preoccupied with that. How about that? And you guys can see his tail, hopefully. There you go. So there's the tail, and there's his back legs, kind of just hanging out. He's sitting on my crook of my arm here. See that on Instagram? So yeah, you can see his tail. You guys see his whiskers. So these guys, a lot of times when they're out in the wild, they will actually adopt another animal's home. So these guys often hunt things like rodents that live underground. They'll hunt rabbits, of course, that live in their warrens underground in Europe. And a lot of times they will actually take on the animal that they're hunting's home and eat the animals and then use that as their home afterwards. Sounds terrible, but it's the way of nature. That's why nature is so hard on animals sometimes. So these guys will come in, hunt all the rabbits, have tons of food for them and maybe their families. If it's a female having babies and things, right? She's got to feed her babies. These guys feed their babies with milk, but they also feed their babies with meat once they're a little bit older. And ferrets actually start eating meat very young. They will be nursing and munching on meat very, very young, even before their eyes are open. Isn't that amazing? So they start kind of being a little carnivores right away. And then they'll go in there. But these guys need their whiskers to be able to tell how far into a tunnel they can go. Just like a cat. It helps them to determine the width of the tunnel. Do you see his whiskers there? That's about as wide as the widest part of him, too. Just like a cat. Cool, huh? And these guys are very, very flexible. So if he's coming through into a tunnel, tunneling, and then he's like, oh no, a dead end, they can just literally bend their bodies and turn around this way. Cool, huh? One of my favorite things about ferrets. And they can go back around this way. Very, very flexible. There's very little kind of small spaces and things that they cannot get into. Look at him. He's so cute. It's like, put me down so I can play. You cannot play in the studio. You will get into everything. You're very mischievous. We'll let him play here in a little bit with his brother. He is so cute. What other questions do you guys have? Yes, and skunks have a much bigger stink. They actually have one of the most impressive anal glands of all the animals. Skunks are one of my favorite animals. If you guys don't know me, I talk about skunks a lot because I love them. But think about it. No, almost no animal can hunt a skunk, like I was saying. Only birds of prey because they have no sense of smell. But any other animal, I mean, you just can't. As long as that skunk has enough of its spray to defend itself. So skunks can run out of their spray. So if they just sprayed something and another animal comes by and tries to eat it and they've run out of spray, that animal might win. But it's pretty rare. But very little animals can eat the skunk. Look at Loki just looking around, licking his chops. He's adorable. What other questions you got? Hi, Justin. Do they live in trees? Nope. These guys are not arboreal. They are what we call terrestrial and subterrestrial. So these guys might climb like up like a small log or something like that. And he can certainly try to climb a small tree and things. I'm not going to say that he hasn't tried to climb things in our home. He definitely has. He's kind of mischievous. But no, they're not really known for living in trees. So they're not arboreal, living in trees. They are terrestrial, living on the ground, or even subterrestrial, which means underground. Good question. Let's see, what else do we have going on? The San Antonio urban deity, the skunk. Skunks are amazing animals. You might see skunks out during the spring a lot because it's going to be their breeding season, and you might be seeing some babies soon. Please watch out for skunks and other wildlife in the road. Skunks a lot of times they're not dumb, but they're slow. So a lot of people assume that skunks are dumb because get hit by cars a lot, and that's very, very sad. Number one, just because you're slow doesn't make you dumb. Skunks are very smart animals. They're just not designed to run fast. And if you think about it, that makes sense, because why should they be able to run fast? They've got an atomic weapon at the ready to save them in case of emergency. So they don't really run fast. They're kind of wobbly and waddly, and they'll waddle across the road, and little do they know there's a car. And also skunks are out at night. They're nocturnal. These guys are crepuscular, most active in dawn and dusk. Skunks are nocturnal, right? So a lot of times they just can't see the cars. And a lot of animals that are nocturnal get hit by cars because the lights are right in their face and they just can't see. It blinds them. So animals like raccoons are very smart too. They're not super duper fast either. And they're out at night too. They're nocturnal. So that's why they get hit by cars. Pretty sad. Oh, your little foot's up there. Let's see. Amanda asked, has he ever raided your refrigerator? Just trying to get my totems represented. No, but I imagine he probably would. But remember, these guys are carnivores. So raiding the fridge for other things wouldn't be good for them. So I'm glad he hasn't. I don't think they'd be strong enough to open a fridge, although maybe like a mini fridge, you could probably open up like that. But these guys can definitely get into a lot of things if you let them. You have to kind of ferret proof like your room or your house to let them run around. And as long as they're supervised and you're kind of just like watching them, or you just have the whole room ferret proof. I know some ferret moms and dads that do that. And hi, buddy. You're getting tired? Aww. They just kind of let them have run of the room. That's what I do with my rabbit, but the rabbit's a little bit less mischievous than a ferret. Ferrets can get into a lot of things. Ferrets are also carnivores, so I can't let them run around the entire house because guess what? I have a lot of prey animals and they would not mix well. A lot of people ask me between the ferret and the whatever, who would win? Ferret every time. Ferret and rabbit, ferret. Ferret and snake, ferret. Ferret and scorpion, ferret. Ferret and bird, ferret. All every time. These guys are amazing predators. Very tenacious, very strong, and they don't really give up easily when they're hunting, which is why they make great animals for hunting rodents and things, which is why they were domesticated a long time ago. And I'm glad they were, because that means I get to have ferrets in my life that are great for this, right? And great just to have around. They're wonderful. Let's see. Nick is asking, or he's saying that Jack is asking, his son is asking, is his favorite meat chicken? Excuse me. Is his favorite meat chicken? I don't know if he has a favorite meat. These guys get a varied diet. Right now he's eating a chicken flavored baby food, but they also get like other meat flavored baby foods just for programs and things and training. This is not like a regular food item. I don't just feed them baby foods. They'll be mad at me. They also get food items with bone. They get food items with organs. They get all kind of hair. Yum. But that is very important for their diet because it helps them to get a balanced meal. It's very, very important because that's what they would eat in the natural world. Believe it or not, these animals eat the bones. They eat the fur of the animal. They can eat feathers and things. They may not eat all the feathers. That might be kind of a pain. But all those things actually do get eaten and they digest them. So in fact, the more bones in there, and this is raw bones, not cooked bones. Cooked bones are very dangerous for animals because they splinter and they can choke and hurt the animals. But these are raw meat items. So just like they would be in the wild. So if he were to hunt like a rabbit or a rat, they would eat the whole animal. The bones, the fur, the tail, all the things. Pretty gross. The organs. So that's what they get here. We balance their diet out with a kind of like a little chart that I was taught to use for ferrets getting raw diet. And that ensures that they get a nice balanced diet. So his favorite, I would say, are probably rats. They do get pieces of rat sometimes to eat. They seem to go crazy for that just because I think it's kind of like a novel item every now and then. It's not something they get on a regular basis because rats are expensive. So things like chicken, beef, what else? All kinds of things. Those are a little bit cheaper, obviously, to obtain from the store and things. So they get a lot of chicken meat. But they also get rat. They also get all kinds of things. I'm blanking right now, but all kinds of animals they eat. Pretty cool. What about dog versus ferret? So I do have dogs, but they're not dogs that would go after ferrets. So obviously talking about within my collection, depends on your dog. So it depends on your dog's aggression. Ferrets and dogs don't normally fight. They're normally pretty cool with each other. I think they kind of understand that that's not a prey animal, you know, and plus they're domesticated. So they're a little bit less wild than like their wild cousins, like wolverines and things. A wolverine might win against a dog. Let me tell you what, those guys are really tough. One of the toughest animals I know. Badgers too, honey badgers, etc. You guys are familiar with those guys, right? Very tough animals, all relatives of a ferret. But with our dogs, I don't think that they would necessarily, oh my goodness, it's a burp. Did you hear that? I don't think they would necessarily fight each other. They would probably just be like, oh, hey man, and then like walk away from each other and things. So I think Loki is ready to go back. So I'm going to go ahead and put him back and go ahead and keep answering your questions if you don't mind. Just say bye to Loki. I think he's just ready to go down. And that's fine. He's full on baby food. I'm just going to put him down. I'm going to wash my hands if you don't mind. Because there's chicken baby food everywhere. Oh my gosh. It's all over me. I smell like ferrets and chicken. Not good. Not good. Part of the job though, isn't it? Okay, I'm just going to get situated really fast. It depends on your dog. So some dogs may attack a ferret and may win. I mean, some dogs are bigger than ferrets, right? Little dogs can even go after animals too. It just depends, I guess. So cat versus ferret, I think it'd be pretty even, depending on your cat. Some cats are wild, crazy cats. But yeah, so all the animals that we have versus ferret every time. I can't even think of one animal in our ambassador collection. Our dogs aren't included in that, so that would actually, man, it's a terrible thought. Let's see. So I don't know if they have a favorite. I would say probably rat meat is probably their favorite. They like rats. But that actually will, sure. My lovely assistant behind the scenes is going to take Loki behind the scenes too. There you go. I didn't know you were here. Thank you. You're welcome. That works really well. Sometimes Loki gets excited to come back out, so he'll start scratching and stuff at his kennel, so we don't want too much noise, right? So we have an assist behind the scenes. Hooray. What other questions do you guys have that I haven't answered yet? Can they swim? So yes, they can swim a little bit. They're not really inclined to swim a whole lot like an otter. Otters are designed for swimming. They're waterproof on their fur, and they have special glands and oils for that helps them to be waterproof, and the water just kind of slides right off their backs and everything. So they can swim a little bit though. They can definitely swim like across the river or something like that, or for safety purposes, or maybe to get an occasional fish. These guys can hunt things like they can hunt anything really. Rabbits, rodents, fish, reptiles, whatever, birds. What else? I'm just making sure that I haven't skipped any questions here because I have my hands full, as you might understand. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining in on our live stream. Pretty exciting. Okay, I think I covered everybody's questions here. Take a look over here. Are they related to the mongoose? Good question. I don't believe so. So mongoose, to my understanding, and this is of course putting me on the spot, but to my understanding, mongoose are in the same family as a meerkat. Please don't quote me on that. I'm going to look that up later because I'm very curious now. But I believe mongoose and meerkats are in the same kind of grouping. But mongoose, I know, are not related to ferrets, but I believe mongoose and meerkats are related. Good question. Excellent question. I love all y'all's questions, especially when you stump me, because that gives me an excuse to go learn something, right? Then I can go look it up and learn with you guys, and then I have something to say next time, which is really fun. Weasels are definitely in that family, etc. Okay. Yeah, I believe not. Okay, you guys, let's talk a little bit about our Zoom rooms really fast. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. So what we're doing now, because we're kind of in the virtual world, right, is we're offering Zoom room animal encounters. So that's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna go ahead and play our commercial that we have and let you guys learn from the commercial. How's that? I'll be right back. Wow, what a great commercial. Did you guys like that? I like our commercial a lot. Okay. Are you telling me it did not work? What are you trying to tell me, Amanda? No audio? Why? I'm glad it has subtitles. So the subtitles should be provided through the platforms that we use. By the way, this is Xena, the scorpion. We'll talk about her in a minute. That's so interesting that the sound didn't work. Let's just try it again, and I'll just let's just do it again. I'm sorry about that, guys. So I tried it on our test, and it worked perfect. And this time it did it, which I find hilarious. What are you going to do? I don't know. I could hear it. So let's go ahead and let's see here. We're going to change a few things really fast. I'll just stay here like this. And let's try it again. How about that? Stuck in the house with nothing to do? Did your students miss the fun field trip that was planned for that? Are you looking for a fun team building activity for your employees that are stuck in the house with the same old Zoom meetings from day in and day out? Was your child's birthday party canceled this year because you're stuck in quarantine? Well, have we got the solution for you? Our Zoom Room Animal Encounters are a great solution for you. In Zoom Room Virtual Animal Encounters, we can bring the zoo to you, but from the safety of your own home. They are fully customizable, and you can invite all your friends to join in and meet all the animals. They are fun, unique, and very interactive. It's also a great learning opportunity. And most of all, it's very, very simple. Just contact us to book your appointment and schedule your Zoom room. Then select the animals you would like to attend in your Zoom room animal encounter, and then send the link to all of your friends and family who are invited to the Zoom room that we provide to your email. And best of all, we can bring the animals to anyone, anywhere, all over the world. So visit us at onceinawild.com or call us today. We can't wait to see you. All right, what a commercial. Now I can say that, right? With the noise. Yes, we have chameleons. We have all kinds of animals. You guys, we have about 65 or 70 animals. And I say that in a range because some of our our bugs and things are breeding. So from time to time, we get around 70 animal ambassadors, including bugs and things, so that can participate in our animal encounters. So we have so many animals to choose from. So you guys can give us a call, schedule your animal encounter. They start at only $50, and they go on up from there. Pretty cool. You can customize which animals you want to see, etc. A lot of fun. So just give me a call if you're interested in that. Okay, I'm going to go back to this banner now. Bam. Now we're back in biz. So I was trying to play our commercial so I could dip out and check my camera again. And that's why I just played it without me here. But oh well, I guess it doesn't work that way. It did earlier, so I have no idea. So this is Xena, the African flat rock scorpion. She's one of our other animal ambassadors. Another obligate carnivore. Like I was saying, all of our animals today are obligate carnivores, meaning that they eat meat and only meat. I've got ferret hair on my chin still. This animal also has hair, believe it or not. Arachnids, like scorpions and spiders, have hair. And that's going to be their main sense to be able to find prey. So prey such as other bugs, they might eat spiders too. They might eat all kinds of things. They can even eat other scorpions. Some scorpions are known to be pretty cannibalistic with one another until it's time to have babies. Then they come together for breeding, right? But scorpions are nocturnal predators, meaning that they're out at night only. They're not crepuscular like the ferret. And these guys will come out at night and hunt on insects. That's most scorpion species are nocturnal. You'll see them out at night sometimes. This species is called the African flat rock scorpion. They are from Africa, as their name states, right? Very, very, makes sense, right? And these guys are very nocturnal. So they'll be living in countries like South Africa and surrounding countries. These guys live in deserts and drier areas like that, dry savannas, etc. Scrub areas where it's very dry, a little rainfall, very hot, especially during the dry season. And these guys will kind of shelter underground in tunnels and things until it's time to come out at night. And that's when they go hunting. Now, these guys don't have to hunt very often, so they don't come out every single night. They might come out from time to time. And they can also stay in their burrow and be an ambush predator too if they want to. Sometimes she hangs out underneath a hide and she'll wait for that roach or cricket that I fed her to come underneath, and then she'll get it. And how these guys hunt is actually going to be with their two claws in the front. So when we talk about arachnids, which are spiders, scorpions, etc., those are arachnids. There's some features that they all share, right? So one is going to be 2 main body parts, 8 legs, and 2 arm-like appendages. So on a scorpion, they have great big arm-like appendages, which are kind of just like a expansion of their mouth area, which is kind of fun. But they're 2 arm-like appendages in the front of their face there. So that head area is called the cephalothorax. And then they have an abdomen, which is their kind of hind end area. And then these guys have a tail, right, that curls around their back like this. I startled her a little bit. And she's also got a stinger. So scorpions are unique in that way. But scorpions and spiders both have 8 legs and 2 arm-like appendages. On spiders, they're called pedipalps. On scorpions, they're also called pedipalps. But we know them as claws. Big arms and claws. And how this species of scorpion hunts is they're going to use their claws mostly, if not always. These guys will actually use their great big claws to grab their prey, subdue their prey with a pinch, grab it like this, and just start eating that food. That's how they eat. Their hairs are designed to be able to feel movement around them. And that is going to allow them to sense their prey. That is going to be their main sense, is a sense of touch, because they have all these hairs all over their body. Can you see her hairs? They're tiny little hairs. They're not as obvious as like a tarantula's hairs or a mammal's hair. You can kind of see them, especially on her claws there. See that? She's got little hairs. Pretty cool. That's going to let her be able to sense the movement of a prey animal. For example, if she's hanging out on the ground, and she's hanging out and she's trying to hunt, looking for food, she's crawling right now, she is going to be able to catch a flying insect coming overhead. So if a moth just kind of like flutters by, she's like, ooh, a moth? No, just my hand, sweetie. She's going to be so amazing with her sense of touch that she can sense that moth kind of like fluttering its wings overhead, and she can reach out and grab the moth in thin air. Isn't that amazing? Okay, let's see who else has questions. Thank you for tagging your friends once again. Let's see. Haha. Thanks for tagging Samantha. Yeah, she loves scorpions, doesn't she? Not. And I know a lot of people are scared of scorpions, and that is fine. It's okay to be scared of scorpion. Most scorpions are not really safe to hold. I say most, but there are many, many scorpion species all over the world, and there's only a few that can actually really harm you. And how you can kind of see a scorpion and say, is that a harmful scorpion or a scorpion that's not going to harm a human? You can take a look at their claws. That's a good rule of thumb. Rule of claw, right? Rule of thumb. These guys, if they have big claws, that means they have little venom. And if they have big fat tails, that means they have lots of venom. And if their claws are small, that means they have lots of venom. So small claws, fat tail, that means more venomous and probably would hurt you if they stung you. Small tiny tail like this with a tiny little stinger and giant claws means that she could probably pinch somebody, but it would be literally not even anything close to like a hermit crab. Hermit crabs have a lot more strength in their claws. And have you ever been pinched by a hermit crab? It hurts pretty bad. That is their main defense too. But that is her main defense. That's her main way of grabbing food, etc., and subduing her food, killing her food. That is what the claws are for in this case. She does have a little bit of venom, but I've never seen her use it for prey. They don't really need it. They've got big enough claws. But I guess if they wanted to kind of subdue their prey a little bit, they could probably sting and incapacitate their prey. Now, a scorpion like this, if it stung a human, it would feel like a very minor ant bite. It wouldn't even feel like a fire ant bite. Very, very minor. And the pain would go away like really fast. It doesn't hurt that bad. I don't recommend you guys, you guys are saying I don't touch scorpions. I don't recommend you guys touching scorpions. So if you don't know what you're doing and you don't have like a safe scorpion to hold, like Xena here, Xena's very nice. But if you don't have a, you don't know what you're doing, you don't know how to identify scorpions, etc., I don't recommend going out and just like holding them in your own backyard, kids and adults. You want to leave wildlife alone. That's the best thing you can do for any wildlife, even wild mammals like the ferret, right? If you saw a European polecat visiting Europe or anything like that, don't pick them up either. They're not pets. They're not tame. These are also wild animals, but she's a species that isn't aggressive towards humans. As you can see, she's kind of just sitting still most of the time. She's got nice little grippy legs that can grip my hand. Makes it really easy to hold her. A lot easier than the ferret. Here's a good question from Amanda. Are they more venomous when they're younger? Nope. Their venom, I would say, is even less because their stinger is smaller. So no, they are not more venomous when they're younger. And that's actually a myth when it comes to animals. So like a venomous snake, for example, like a rattlesnake, they're not more venomous when they're babies. They just don't have as much control if they're giving you venom or not giving you venom when they bite. So rattlesnakes can actually bite you. I don't recommend trying this at home or anything or anywhere, but rattlesnakes can actually bite you and not give you any venom. They have control over that, but they only have control when they learn how to have control. So as a baby, they're kind of just like, whoa, everything's so scary, and they'll bite and release their venom, and you're almost guaranteed to get envenomated that way. So it's not really true that a baby snake is more venomous than an adult snake, but not these guys either, as far as I know. Yeah. Here is a question. Are there difference in scorpions based on region? Yes. So scorpions live all over the planet except for one continent, and that is Antarctica. Antarctica is very sparse in their vegetation and also very, very cold. So many animals don't live there. Not very many animals live there. Including scorpions. It's way too cold for scorpions. Scorpions are ectotherms, meaning that they don't produce their own body heat. So Xena here would need to find a heat source to stay warm, and where they live in the wild is plenty warm in South Africa, especially during the day, and they hide in the day, actually, because they don't want to get too hot, and they're going to come out at night, right? But these guys don't live in Antarctica, but all over the world you can find scorpions of many different sizes and colors and all kinds of things. They're really, really cool. And yeah, it just depends on where you are, what species you'll find. Something to look up. I don't know every species, and I don't know every species that lives here in our country, in the United States, or in Mexico, or anywhere else that you guys might live. There are many, many scorpions all over the place. And scorpions have a very, very good purpose, right? So I know that scorpions are a little bit scary. I know that many scorpions can harm you and you don't want to pick them up. And I know sometimes you get scorpions in your house, and that's a very different situation. But if you're out there in the wild, right, and you see scorpions, we don't want to go around stepping on them or killing them for no reason, because scorpions actually do have a very good purpose for us and for other animals. And that is that they are carnivores, right? So the ferret is a carnivore, an obligate carnivore, a hunter. These guys are hunters too. So they are one of the top predators in their own environment. So in their own little world, this is a huge predator, as you might imagine. To a small insect or any insect, that is a very impressive predator. These guys will eat things like roaches and flies and all kinds of harmful insects that can actually harm us. Mosquitoes and things. I don't know if they would catch a mosquito. That wouldn't be much food for them. Maybe a smaller scorpion species. In fact, I know they eat things like mosquitoes and flies and things. So all of those animals that eat insects are very important to us. So we want to make sure and leave them alone. We don't want to eradicate scorpions just because we're scared of them or because we may have a problem with them. They actually help us out a lot by keeping that bug population down, because as you know, insects can multiply and we can have tons of them. And if we have too many of any animal, that is not good. So, haha. Scorpion versus ferret. Ferret, for sure. So one of the main predators of the scorpion, in fact, this specific scorpion species, is the meerkat. We were talking about meerkats earlier. Now, I know they're not related to, technically, to the ferret, but we talked about that a little bit ago. How funny. But the main predator of this animal is the meerkat and other animals like that. Meerkats are immune to almost all scorpion venom. This one, again, isn't very venomous at all, so it would be no problem to a meerkat to eat them whatsoever. In fact, they do a lot. And this is not an endangered species, so it's okay. They can eat them. They're doing just fine in the wild and everything else. But definitely, a ferret could definitely eat a scorpion. I bet they would. Ferrets are little killers in their own right. They're little hunters for sure. Let's see if we have any questions on Instagram. Gemini says, do you have another scorpion and call it Hercules? So I have 4 scorpions in our care right now. We have 2 of Xena's babies. Xena is a mother of 39 babies. Most of them got other homes because 39 scorpions is a lot of scorpions on top of the other 2 that I already have. But we do have 2 of her babies, and I actually kind of meant to bring one of her babies, and I just didn't. And I do apologize. But we've got another scorpion. It's an emperor scorpion. His name is Sting. So we have Sting, and we have Xena. Maybe we can name one of the babies Hercules. That's a really, really good name. Now, we don't know the gender of the babies because they are super tiny. They're really, really small. So until scorpions get a little bit bigger, it is hard to tell the gender. On this species, it's very easy to tell the gender once they're adults because the males will have different looking tails than the females. So they are what we call dimorphic, which means males and females look different. So monomorphic means males and females look the same. Dimorphic means males and females look different. So we know that she's a girl. Not only has she had a whole bunch of babies, but being able to tell the differences. You can also check the undercarriage. There are ways to tell, believe it or not, on a scorpion. It's pretty fun to look up. They have some really cool parts where males and females look different. Our other scorpion Sting, he's a boy. We can finally tell that he's a boy. It's pretty exciting. It's just exciting to know. Not that we're, either way is fine, male or female. But we know she's a female right away, even before she had her babies, because by the way, I did not know she was going to have babies when I obtained the scorpion. She was given to me and very, very fat. And I thought, man, she's just a really big scorpion. And I thought, wait a minute. Maybe she has babies. So sure enough, one day I looked in there. I thought there were 40. I thought I was going to be really excited because I kind of eyeballed how many babies and I counted 40 and it was 39. I was like, God, off by 1 number. So these guys are really good mothers. But yeah, Hercules is a great name. That's what I was trying to say. We'll think about that name. I like that. So, but if it's a female, I guess, I don't know, maybe another alternative. Maybe we should think of a gender neutral name. You guys can help me name our scorpions or baby scorpions. But Xena is the mom. Now, scorpion mothers are really good mothers. What's it like being a scorpion mommy? Perfect segue. Yeah, scorpions are very, very good moms. They are amazing moms. So in nature, they will have a pregnancy and then they will actually give live birth. And in the care of humans, they give live birth. And those babies are going to come out white and very, very soft. And they can have many of them. Like I said, she almost had 40 of them, but they can have even more than that. All the babies come out and then they kind of sit on mom's back and they will clump all together in a cute little huddle on top of mom, and mom will carry them around until they have their first their exoskeleton actually hardens. So they're let's start over. These guys are invertebrates. They don't have a backbone, nor do they have a skeleton. So they have an exoskeleton, which means like that hard shell all over their body. Crabs have this too. And as they grow, they have to molt and they have to shed their exoskeleton and start over. So scorpion babies are very soft. They're white. They have to harden to be able to be safe. So until they have hardened their exoskeleton, mom will take care of them. She feeds them. She makes sure they have moisture and water, and she's going to protect them to the death. In fact, that's the only time that she's gone after me and tried to pinch me when she was like, my babies, stay away. Ah, she was like super protective, which was really cute. These guys are excellent mothers. So they protect their babies. When their babies' exoskeletons have gone from white to brown, just like she is, and hardened, and they're safe enough to be out on their own, that's when they're going to leave. And then all the 40 babies just leave and start coming off her back. And that's when we went ahead and took them out from mom and give them all their own little enclosures so they can be their own scorpion. Pretty exciting. And scorpions do grow very, very slowly. They live a long time, and males and females both live a long time, unlike spiders. So tarantulas and most spider species, females live much longer than male. But when it comes to being a scorpion, they grow slow and they live a long time, both male and female. Pretty cool. Dog pile on mom. Yep, exactly. It's so cool. That's one of my favorite things about scorpions. It probably is my favorite thing about them because they are such good moms. Isn't that so cute? Yes, I will let you do that. I'm not sure what you're asking. Mantra, be your own scorpion. Love it. Okay, thank you guys for your question. Lena is beautiful. These guys are so misunderstood, just like many animals that are different than us, right? So I feel like animals that have multiple legs, well, we all have multiple legs, but they have more than 4 legs, I should say, more than 4 limbs. Like we have 4 limbs, we have 2 legs, we're bipedal. But we have 4 limbs, right? Just like the ferret, those guys are considered to be cute. Animals with no limbs are kind of misunderstood. Animals with multiple limbs like this, like 8, 10 limbs, remember they have 8 legs and 2 arms. They're very misunderstood. They're just very, very different than us. They're also cold-blooded, so we think, oh my gosh, cold-blooded, that makes them bad. So sad to me because they're wonderful. And it's okay to be scared of animals. I'm not telling you guys to never be scared of animals if you don't understand them. That is very normal. You're not weird. You're pretty normal. But we do encourage you guys to, of course, leave animals alone in the wild if you can, right? In fact, you can. And you should leave animals alone. That's the best thing you can do for wildlife. And also, just to kind of get to know animals that you may be a little bit scared of. So, what questions do you guys have about her? Any other questions? Let me see. Thank you guys for watching so far. No limbs. Some animals have no limbs. I think you know what kind of animals have no limbs. Oh, yes. We might get to know one here in just a little bit. My favorite animals have no limbs. Ha 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 ha. Very good question. Kathleen Smith says, Grandma wants to know what the mama feeds the babies. So these guys do eat insects and things, and mom will actually eat like a cricket or a roach or whatever insect they find. She'll munch it up. So that's my impersonation of a scorpion eating their food. And then she'll actually kind of like salivate all over it too. That's how they eat too. So they have to kind of turn their food into like a little liquid. So they'll kind of use their little special jaws. They have like 2 little jaws like this. And they'll liquefy their food a little bit so they can swallow it. That's what they're going to feed to their babies. Since they're not mammals, they don't have milk, right? So they're going to mush up food, and then with their claws, they'll hand it to their babies onto the back. Can you imagine? So she's eating the food, and she's like, here, babies, have some food. She'll kind of just put it in the pile, and they kind of eat it. Yes. I bet you can guess what animals have no limbs. Legless animals. You're going to see one here in a minute. Do they ever eat each other? Yes. So scorpions will cannibalize one another. Mother's instincts are very, very strong with her babies, but once her babies are a little bit bigger, they might be lunch. So that's why you always want to actually remove the babies at a certain age, usually right away, just in case, because sometimes she might be hungry after giving birth, right? By the way, on Instagram, once we end our program, I'm just going to start over for our last animal is what I usually do. So don't you worry. We'll be able to see the last animal too. So stay tuned. Instagram only lets me go for a solid hour and that's it. And they cut me off. So rude. So yes, but scorpions in general are definitely cannibalistic. They are solitary in the wild and here. So we don't keep them together. So scorpions, if they get hungry enough, will definitely cannibalize. So oh yeah. Coral, sure. I bet you can think of other animals with no limbs. Corals are very good, guess. I don't have any coral, so I'm not going to bring coral onto the program, although, I mean, some people have coral, right? Okay, by Instagram, we'll start over, okay? I'm going to share to the story before I forget. We're going to check our camera here. I'm going to dip out really fast, and we'll be right back. How's that? Okay, thank you guys so much for waiting. So yes, several animals have no limbs. Some animals have many limbs. And some animals have 4 limbs, right? Yes. Different limbs on different animals. Okay. Comments. Let's get to your comments. Eels and snakes. That is right. Eels and snakes. Very, very good, Amanda. Okay, you guys are back here on Instagram. Hello. We'll just keep on going. So again, we're talking about Xena, the African flat rock scorpion. She's amazing. She is a mother of 39 babies and a wonderful, wonderful animal ambassador. You can see how easy she is to work with. She is such a good scorpion. These guys are very strong. They can kind of just like hang on to my skin just like that. A lot of people ask me how she does that. She's got teeny tiny little claws. Oh, you can probably even see the little claws. She's got 2 little claws like this on each end of her little toes. See that? Pretty cool. That's how she can grip onto things. And it doesn't hurt me or anything. They're so small. They're almost like little hairs. I can feel it, but it doesn't hurt. Very, very cool. Yes, and snakes are my favorite, as you may know already. Those of you that have followed me for a while. Well, I guess we're going to say see you later to Xena, since we're running low on time, right? We want to make sure not to go too long, even though I could sit with you guys all day and talk about the animals all day. But we have one more animal to talk about. And speaking of snakes, we're going to go ahead and meet a snake right now. Remember, all 3 of our animals are carnivores. Snakes are carnivores, and they're all obligate carnivores. The ferret is an obligate carnivore, only eating meat and hunting other animals. And Xena is an insectivore, eating other bugs and things. And these guys can actually eat small lizards, teeny tiny mammals, and teeny tiny birds. Maybe like a hummingbird-sized bird, but that would be really rare. But that also goes for some of your larger tarantulas and things too. But they are still considered an insectivore because that is their main diet. Okay, insects. I'm gonna go ahead and say bye to Xena. We'll switch her out for our last animal of the day. And remember, you guys, we're only doing our live streams on Mondays and Fridays now because we had to clear up our schedule a little bit for doing some of our Zoom classes, which have been really fun. And remember, these programs are free, but we really appreciate your tips via Venmo, and we appreciate your tips via our Amazon wish list. You guys can find both of those things and donate if you would like. And here we go. Here's our snake of the day. I always try to include some kind of reptile, usually in our program. Sometimes I theme our programs to be like just mammals, just birds, things like that. But reptiles are kind of my favorite. So I have a lot of them here in our program. So here is Prince the python. He is so cute, and he is such a good snake. I'm going to hold him over here in this hand, so I can talk to you guys over here with this hand. This is a one-person show, isn't it? I'm doing everything. Definitely after all this is over, I am going to be looking for an assistant. Wouldn't that be fun? Who wants to be my assistant? Let me see. So here's a good question. Hello. I heard something like a scorpion rule, which says when the stinger is bigger, it gets more venomous. When the stinger gets smaller, it's less venomous. Is this true? So a little bit yes and a little bit no. So it's not like the same scorpion's tail gets fatter and smaller depending on the venom storage or anything like that. It's a species. So if you see a species of scorpion with skinny claws, like tiny ones, like little tiny claws like this, I guess, and a big fat tail, that is going to be a dead giveaway that they are dangerous, that they are very venomous. That doesn't mean they can kill you necessarily. That just means their venom is very, very strong. And that makes sense, right? Because their venom is in the tail. It's in that stinger. And if they have a fat tail, that means they have more power to sting and also more venom, typically. And if they have tiny claws, their claws are just going to be for holding on while they sting their prey, etc. So yes, that's kind of true. So what you heard is that's pretty much it. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. I'm trying to understand Ilse's question. If I don't understand it, I will try to get back with you to answer. I'm not really sure. Oh, prairie dog? You asking about a prairie dog? Yes, no problem. So prairie dogs do eat scorpions, I believe. Now, you are making me think now because I'm not sure. But I know a lot of rodents do eat scorpions, but I know the meerkat, which is over in Africa, eats a lot of scorpions too. Something to look up. Let's look it up together. Yes, yes, yes. Now I know what you're asking. Very good. Me. So Prince is a python. He's not a very big python, though. He's a ball python. Ball pythons get about 5 to 6 feet at very maximum, and that is typically females. But all pythons and all snakes and all reptiles never stop growing their whole life, so that's why some of them get kind of big. But females are always bigger than males because females carry the babies. This species of snake does lay eggs, and the eggs are pretty large. And they can have anywhere from 2 to, well, I guess 1 would be an option, anywhere from 1 to, I would say, 14 in a clutch, maybe a little more. And they're big. They're like really big eggs. They're like this big, no kidding. Like almost like a chicken egg sized. They're huge. Now, they aren't hard shelled like a chicken. They're soft, leathery shells, so that helps a little bit, you know, and to pass them and all that. But the female still needs to be pretty large and sizable to survive after having those large clutches of eggs and large eggs, right? That makes a lot of sense. So the males don't need to have babies, so they're not as large. So typical size for this type of snake is 4 to 5 foot. So that's not very big. And that sounds big, but it's really not because they're usually curled up. These guys are known for curling up in a ball, hence the name ball python. And ball pythons will curl up in a ball for a couple of reasons. One is to stay safe from their predators. I'm going to demo. Boop. I'm going to boop him in the little snoot there. And he's going to hide under his body like this and hide their head underneath. That's going to act almost like a shell for him to stay safe, right? That's going to keep him safe from his predators. Just because a snake is a predator and an obligate carnivore, only eating meat and hunting other animals, doesn't mean they don't have predators. So he's got to stay safe from his predators too. He's peeping out now. He's like, I don't have any predators around. You guys are, there's no reason to hide. He's so sweet. So yes, that's one reason why they ball up and hide their head underneath their heavy body. Their head is very small. And he would hide underneath like that to stay safe, hopefully. Another reason is to stay still and curl into a ball. Number one, it's comfortable for them. That's just how they're designed. I'll show you guys over here on Instagram. So if you see him kind of curled up, let me get rid of this really fast. We'll go back to this. See how he kind of curls up here? We're going to put him so you can see him. They just kind of relax like that. That's how they're normally kind of laying down and hanging out. And what they'll usually do is these guys are ambush predators. So out there in nature, they're going to sit still for a very, very long time, and they're going to wait for their food to come to them. Now, you guys know that snakes don't eat salad and fruits and vegetables. They're going to eat other animals, just like all the animals that we met today. They are obligate carnivores, which means that they eat things like rodents and birds, mostly rodents for this particular species, the ball python. By the way, this is an African species, just like the scorpion was. The African flat rock scorpion and the ball python live in the same continent, but not the same country typically. Typically, the African flat rock scorpion lives in South Africa, and these guys live in kind of Central Africa. But they're still going to live in a similar habitat in like savannas and forests and scrub regions of Africa. But since it's Central Africa, it's not nearly as hot most of the year. So South Africa is very, very dry and very hot most of the time, at least where the scorpion lives, right? So these guys will sit still for a very long time, and they can go a long time without eating as well. These guys can usually eat about once a month. It's comfortable for them in the wild. That's not really great in the care of humans. We want to encourage you guys that have snakes and take care of snakes to offer food about once a week, or every other week is fine too, depending on your snake, depending on the size of the snake, depending on the age of the snake, and all those things. Everything comes into play when it comes to, it just depends. So these guys here at our house are offered food typically once a week, and some of the larger snakes are fed about every other week. Sometimes they don't want to eat, and that's fine. They'll be just fine not eating every single week, because out there in the wild, these guys can go about a month without eating, no problem. And in fact, they can go about a year without eating and survive. Now, that wouldn't necessarily be ideal, of course. He would be very hungry at that point. That is not something that they aim for, but it is something that they could survive from. So they are great survivors when it comes to not having to eat all the time like mammals do, and even like a scorpion. A scorpion can go a long time without eating too. Those guys eat, I would say, we offer food about every other week with our scorpions, but I would say they probably eat about the same frequency. as these guys about once a month, maybe a few times a month, things like that. Just depends. They're going to be opportunistic. So whatever opportunity arises, they're going to go ahead and take it and eat an insect if they're hungry. If they're not hungry, they won't come out and hunt. These guys never really come out to hunt. They're not an active hunter. They're an ambush predator, which means they'll sit very still. They'll wait for maybe like a rodent to come by, right? And that rodent comes by, and that's when they're going to strike very, very fast with their head and bite the rodent. And then what a constrictor does, like a python, since he's non-venomous and he's not a colubrid, he's a python, these guys will actually constrict their prey. They're constrictors. So they will use their muscle power, wrap around that animal, and wait for it to pass away. And then snakes, of course, eat their prey whole. They have a very specialized jaw, which is not fused in the middle, and it's not really fused here either. Very stretchy right here and here. So they can open their mouth very wide this way and very, very wide this way because their bones are not fused here. So if you touch your jaw right here, of course, it's a good solid piece. Right there, it's all one solid piece because we eat our food like this. We are chewing species. We chew our food and eat it in pieces. He does not do that. He's got teeth, which are designed like Velcro to grab onto the rodent and then pull it in, keep biting, squeeze it up, wait for it to pass away, and then he can eat it head first. And he can eat an animal that's 3 times the size of his own head. 3 or 4 times the size of his own head for this species. Pretty cool. And another rule of thumb is as wide as the fattest part of their body. Ball pythons have very fat bodies and very small heads. So believe it or not, he can eat something about 4 times the size of his head. Pretty amazing. Right now he's getting small to medium rats and he can eat them. It's pretty amazing. Look how tiny his head is on my hand. Crazy. But that's how they can do that, is with that amazing specialized stretchy jaw. Incredible. What questions do you guys have? Let's see. Here's a good question. Is he an albino or is it just his color? It is his color. So Prince is a boy. He's a male. And this is a specialized color. It's not an albino. It's called a pastave. So when we talk about ball pythons, there are many of them bred in the care of humans, which have been bred for their coloration. Since these are animals that have been in human care for a long time, humans that are ball python breeders and things like that, and reptile enthusiasts, have figured out their genetics and how to get different color patterns, different colors, all kinds of fun things. So he's very, very similar to what a wild ball python's pattern would be. In fact, he's pretty much exactly the wild pattern, but he is much lighter in coloration, isn't he? You guys have probably seen a dark brown and black and white ball python. He's almost like a yellow, still has a white belly, just like a wild ball python would have. But as you imagine, this would show a lot easier in the wild than it would, than a normal colored ball python would. So yes, he's a pastave, which is just a fun coloration name that they've come up with for his color. It's a pastel and a Mojave mixed together, which are 2 other colors. So they call it pastave, pastel Mojave. Pretty cool. There's all different kinds of morphs. If you guys want to educate yourself a little bit on different morphs of ball pythons, that's a really fun rabbit hole to kind of go down on the internet. And next time we're out and about and enjoying life and able to go out free and everything's safe again and we're not in quarantine anymore and everything's okay, I recommend checking out a reptile show in your area. Those are really fun ways to learn about reptile morphs, like ball python colorations and morphs. And that's a great way to learn about reptiles in general. If you guys are interested in reptiles, even just learning about them and getting to know them, those are so much fun. And I can't wait to go to another reptile show as soon as we're free again. Snake versus ferret? Oh yes, ferret would definitely win. Now, I'm not talking about a very large snake. So if we have like a Burmese python or a reticulated python or even like a blood python or something like that, very large, they could possibly eat a ferret. That would never obviously be something we would do. But ferrets are eaters of snakes. Ferrets can eat snakes, lizards, things like that. Very, very good. Yes, so ferrets eat small snakes quite often, actually. Kind of like Rikki Tikki Tavi, Rikki Tikki Tavi with the cobra, right? So Rikki Tikki Tavi is a mongoose, which is similar to a ferret. It's related directly, but distantly as a similar mammal. They have similar hunting skills. So yes, I would imagine. And I do know that ferrets eat snakes. Good question, Amanda. Does he eat when he's in the blue? So when we talk about snakes and we talk about being in blue, that just means they're getting ready to shed. So as a snake grows, and as any reptile grows, actually, they have to shed their upper layer of skin called the epidermis. We all have epidermis, right? And believe it or not, as humans too, and all mammals shed their skin too. We're just always constantly shedding skin flakes as we grow, and our skin just grows with us. That dermis and epidermis just kind of grows with us, but we do shed kind of in a weird way too. But these guys will actually shed it all in one piece, like a pantyhose turned inside out. That's how it looks when it comes off of them. And when they are getting ready to shed, they have like kind of an opaque appearance where they look very cloudy. Their eyes actually cloud over too. And snakes don't have any eyelids. They have a scale over their eye instead, which protects their eye, but they can't shut their eyes. They don't have any eyelids. See that? You will never see him blink. He's so cute. And when they go into shed, they go into blue, all of that will turn opaque and it's hard for them to see. So this snake, and I don't recommend feeding any snakes when they're in deep blue because they usually won't eat because they feel vulnerable. And that sounds weird because aren't they predators? But yes, they do feel vulnerable. They feel a little bit leery or careful, right? When they're in blue because they're instinctive that way. They're going to have that instinct that says, I can't see, therefore I can't hunt, therefore I can't defend myself very easily. So that's going to put them in a little bit of a more nervous mood. So some snakes eat just fine when they're in blue and some snakes don't. I don't recommend feeding any snakes in blue though until they come out of shed. That's when they're going to really be hungry usually. But he really doesn't. He's a very picky eater usually. He's been doing much better lately. I've had him for about 3 years and we've been working on this ever since we've had him. He's picky about what he eats and when he eats and etc. That is typical of ball pythons. Ball pythons can be picky eaters sometimes. In fact, they're one of the pickiest eating snakes that I know. And Prince especially, I named him Prince because he's very spoiled. And he likes his food given to him in a certain way, a certain temperature, certain food items. He only likes, well, he used to eat mice, but now he eats rats. He only likes certain kinds of rats. I mean, it's something I've had to kind of learn about him. It's okay. I mean, he's going to get fed. But no, he does not eat when he's blue. He's very picky, even without being blue. But he's been doing better. Here's a question from Tyrell. Hello, Tyrell Hills. Nice to see you again. It's been a while. Is there a known is there no reason for pythons being thicker bodied than some other snakes like garters or boas? Yes. So some boas are fatter bodied, right? In fact, most constrictors are fatter bodied because they need their muscle power to subdue a prey, because that's how they kill their prey is with muscles. And I guess you're thinking of like rainbow boas and things like that. They still have muscle power, but not as big. It's just because they eat bigger food items normally. That's not all pythons, of course. And some pythons are small. It just depends on the species. There's lots and lots of pythons in different sizes, different body shapes. So I don't know if there's like a reason exactly, but in general, constrictors are going to be a little bit heavier bodied. They're going to be a little bit stronger, of course, with their muscle power. I hope that answers your question. I mean, there's many python species and boa species that both have big muscles. And then when you're talking about garters and colubrids, those guys don't necessarily constrict every time. They might use their body. It depends on the individual too. My corn snake really likes to constrict her food. But she doesn't really need to because, of course, it's not a live prey that we feed her here. But I guess it's instinctive. But not every corn snake that I've been around constricts like that. So I guess it just depends individual to individual. Maybe, you know, instinctively they're genetic. I don't know. It's hard to explain. But constrictors have to constrict because they're eating bigger prey usually. Bigger snakes eat bigger prey. It's more dangerous if you're not constricting them to the point of them being passed away because that big prey is dangerous when it's defending itself. So there's a lot to talk about with that. But colubrids like king snakes, for example, usually don't constrict. They might do it a little bit, but they're not as picky about that food animal being alive or dead. They'll just kind of start eating sometimes. So good question though. Very, very good question. Ha ha ha. You finally saw your tag in there, Samantha. Ilse says, Amanda, there's so much to learn. I'm afraid I have to read more about reptiles. Yes, reptiles are amazing and very misunderstood. So snakes are very misunderstood, just like the scorpions. And I think that snakes are even more, basically, not just misunderstood, but people have a lot of prejudice against snakes, right? People are scared of them. Some people say the only good snake is a dead snake. I hope you guys don't think that. Poor Prince. But snakes are amazing in your own backyard, in your own environment. Snakes are really, really good for us. You might be scared of snakes, so you may disagree. But we're asking you guys not to necessarily fall in love with snakes, although that would be great if you did fall in love with snakes. We would love to help you fall in love with snakes. In fact, in person, we can let you hold a snake and get over your fears if you're scared of them. There's many snakes that are very nice. But if you don't like them, that's okay. not a big deal. We don't expect everybody to be the same as us and the same as me. But we do want to ask you guys not to harm wildlife, right? So a lot of people do kill snakes because they're scared of them, or they feel like they're doing a good service to their neighbors and their families by killing snakes. But that is actually putting you in more harm's way than it would be otherwise. So most people get bitten by dangerous snakes because they're trying to harm the snake, because that snake is now defending itself. So snakes that are venomous, for example, here in the US, we have 4 main kinds of snakes that are venomous. One is the coral snake, which is the smallest. Very, very beautiful, but also most venomous, but least likely to bite you because they're so small. So coral snakes. We have cottonmouths, aka the water moccasin. That's the same species. Then you have all kinds of different rattlesnakes, and you have all kinds of different copperheads. So there's different kinds. But those are your 4 main kinds. This is 4 main kinds of venomous snakes in the United States. Of course, in other countries all over the world, there's many, many different kinds of snakes. So I'm not listing all of them to you. But the best thing to do is just leave all of them alone. None of those snakes want to come after you and harm you. They would rather not waste their venom on you. Their venom is for food. So venomous snakes use their venom to go after their prey, and that's how they subdue their prey. They don't constrict, and they don't overpower their prey. Instead, they bite, wait for that prey to pass away, and then they eat it. That is their way of eating. So they would rather not waste their venom. Their venom is not an endless supply. It can run out day to day. So they would rather not bite you. They'd rather save it for eating. So there is no, there's no venomous snake that wants to go after a human. They would rather have nothing to do with you. They're scared of you. So if you leave them alone, likely they'll leave you alone too. In fact, almost always. Going after another snake is putting you in harm's way, putting your family at risk, etc. So what I recommend to you guys to do is leave them alone if you can. If a snake is like in your house or something like that, that's a very different situation, right? So you need to call a professional. Don't put yourself in harm's way. Try to contain the snake, maybe like in a room, or if you know where it's at, call immediately to your wildlife services or some kind of exterminating services that can help you remove wildlife. What they will do is they will remove the snake professionally and safely, hopefully, right? And in a humane way, and they will remove the snake and put it in a more appropriate area, like a field or a forest somewhere, in a national park, etc. I myself have actually done this several times for many, many snakes that people have called me about. The first thing you want to do, this is not if it's in your house, but if it's your own backyard or around you, take a photo of it from a safe distance. Don't approach the snake. Don't touch the snake. Don't get so close that it could strike. But you want to take a photo from a distance with your phone or whatever camera you have and send it to a professional. In fact, you are welcome to send it to me, and I will do my very best to identify the snake, tell you whether or not it's a dangerous snake or not. And then I'm going to tell you, hey, leave it alone or call a professional to have it removed, and I'll help you find one. It might even be me. You might get to meet me if I help you with your snake. How's that? So Teresa, hi Teresa, says, I used to be scared of snakes, but Carnell made me love them at Santa Fe Teaching Zoo. Yes, I remember that. That is so cool. And you come a very, very long way with your snake fear. And I do understand that you just weren't around snakes very much. So a lot of us are afraid of what we don't know, right? So that's part of our goal here at Once in a Wild. Teach you guys all about animals that you may not be familiar with, but if you get to know them, then you might like them later. As you can see, Prince is very, very nice. Prince is one of our participants in animal therapy. We do offer animal therapy. Believe it or not, snakes can be animal therapy animals too. Therapy animals, I meant to say. And he'll just kind of sit in your hands. You'll feel how cool their muscles feel. They're very, very soft. Snakes are not slimy. They're very pleasant to hold. They're very clean. They don't have a smell like the ferret does, right? And he will not harm you. He's very nice. Ball pythons are very sweet, usually. And Prince is very, very sweet. So let's see what questions we have on Instagram, if we have any. Thank you guys for joining us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube today on our live stream. This is Prince the Python, and my name is Amanda, if you guys are just joining us. Yes, snakes are my favorite animal. Snakes are very misunderstood. I like to speak for the snakes because no snake wants to harm you, no matter what kind of snake it is. If snakes are being defensive and trying to bite, it's because they're afraid. So imagine you're a snake. These guys aren't very big. Most snakes aren't very big. Some snakes are, right? But even a large snake is usually going to be afraid of a human, unless they're used to humans, like Prince, right? He's trained. He's used to people. He's very acclimated to humans, so he's fine. But a wild animal of any kind is usually going to be scared of humans. They're going to be defensive. They're going to try to defend themselves. And for a snake, defending themselves is striking and biting and looking scary and saying, hey, stay away from me. Most animals will stay away from them. but sadly enough, humans sometimes harm them instead of just leaving. The snake just wants you to leave. Get out of here. Leave me alone. I don't want to be eaten today. So, here's a question, and I love this question over on Instagram. I can't highlight it over here on the other platforms, but on Instagram it says, do snakes drink using sucking or using their tongues like dogs and cats? So snakes have a very specialized tongue, which is a forked tongue, right? And snakes use their tongues only for sensing the world around them. So they don't use their tongue for lapping up water, and they don't use their tongue for tasting, really. It might taste the air a little bit, but really their tongue actually is used for a sense of smell, which sounds weird. We don't smell like that, but a snake does. So since they have a forked tongue, that's going to tell you that their forked tongue can help them smell in different directions. So they're smelling directionally, just like we have two ears and can hear directionally. A snake can smell with the 2 points of their tongue coming in and out. And a snake has a specialized organ in their brain, which is like a supercomputer. It's called the Jacobson's organ. And that Jacobson's organ tells them all kinds of information about smells as their tongue comes in and out. As the tongue comes back into their mouth, it kind of brushes the roof of their mouth, as you might imagine. I like that. Forgive my tongue movement, but that's what they do. They bring, and it kind of like puts particles of smell into their roof of their mouth. And on the underside of their brain is where that Jacobson's organ or supercomputer is located. And that's going to tell them information about those smells that they're smelling. That's how they can sense their food. So they don't use their tongue for lapping up water. Snakes do drink water, and they actually obtain their water mostly from their prey. But if they do want to get a drink of water, or of course soak in water, they can do that too. If they go for a little swim or something like that, or soak in some water. But also the rain and dew and things will help them stay moisturized and nice and hydrated. But these guys, if they want to go get a drink, they just slurp up the water. They suck it up. They'll go over to the water with their little lips. They'll just kind of slurp it up. Maybe I'll try to find a video for you guys next time or another time. I don't know. And we'll show you guys snakes drinking. That's a great question. Let me see. Yes, very good question. Thank you for that question. So I've got somebody over here on Instagram that I believe is a little bit leery of snakes. You don't have to be scared. This is just a virtual snake encounter. You are totally fine. And Prince is quite a gentleman, isn't he? Thank you. I assume you're talking about me and not Prince because he's a boy. The snake goddess right here, y'all. Or maybe you're talking about yourself. You can be a snake goddess too. Well, you guys, it's been fantastic. And we love snakes around here. And once in a while, we want to make sure you guys, if you don't love snakes, that you don't harm them. And you tell all of your friends and family to not harm snakes too, because snakes are great for the environment. They help us to rid the population of too many rodents. And too many rodents can cause diseases and parasites that affect humans. So they are very, very, very good for us. And as are all, predators that eat rodents too, like birds of prey and things like that. Someone said, help me, Jesus. Help me, Jesus. No, he's fine. I promise. You are totally fine. He is just a good old ball python. He won't harm anyone. So you guys, it's been fantastic. Oh, sock puppet, well, I'm sure was a very, very cute snake for sure. I'm so glad you're having a good time. You guys have been a wonderful audience. Remember, these live streams are free, but tips are appreciated over on Venmo at Once in a While. That's how you can find us on Venmo. And also over on our Amazon wish list, which is found on our website. You can go to onceinaWhile.com, scroll all the way down to the bottom, hit donate to our cause, and that's where you can find our Amazon wish list with all kinds of fun items for our animals, which is really, really appreciated too. And also don't forget to book your Zoom room animal encounters as well. Those have been a lot of fun. You can customize your own animal encounter. You guys got to see that commercial earlier and learn all about that and see how you can book your own Zoom room. Don't forget to enter all of your teacher friends and family members that are teachers in our contest that's going on right now on Instagram and Facebook. And you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. We're going to go ahead and close with our really cute song. Hang on. Bye, Prince. Let's do that. And you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. We'll see you next time. Together, singing as loud as we can. Everybody singing. have a wonderful rest of your weekend. And we'll see you next time right here on Monday at 3:30 p.m. Central Time on live stream. We'll catch you guys later. Bye. Have a wonderful day.